Nucleus Software presents CNBC TV 18 Banking Transformation Summit, 4th edition.
Hello and welcome to the 4th edition of the Banking Transformation Summit. I'm Ashmit Kumar and I welcome you to this special curtain raiser episode. Now, India's banking sector is entering a defining new chapter. AI is fast becoming central to how banks lend, manage risks, serve customers, and drive growth. But as AI scales across the financial ecosystem, the real challenge is no longer innovation alone, it is scaling responsibly. That's precisely the focus of the 4th edition of CNBC TV 18's Banking Transformation Summit. This year, our theme is Scaling Bharat Banking with Responsible AI. And joining us today is Mr. VishnuRDusad, the Managing Director of Nucleus Software, to discuss how AI, intelligent banking platforms, and responsible innovation are shaping the future of India's financial ecosystem. Sir, thank you so much for joining us. Always a pleasure. We were just discussing before this show how this is akin to watching a Netflix series. There's so many moving parts. There's so many unknowns, but that, of course, inspires a great deal of energy and excitement as well when we look at deployment of AI at scale. So let's begin by talking about that. The theme this year very clearly is scaling Bharat banking with responsible AI. So when you look ahead at the Banking Transformation Summit, what to your mind is the biggest shift when we look at banking transformation, now looking at responsible AI?
It's a pleasure to be here, Ashmit. It's a defining moment, as you very correctly highlighted, where we are leveraging our public digital infrastructure, our growth in technology to the grassroots level of the economy. Through AI, we would be able to reach the masses in the remotest corners of the country. We would be able to do hyper-personalization, where I might be in a remotest corner of the country and I might be doing a business of, let's say, 500 rupees a day, running a small vegetable vendor operation, and I might be earning just 3,000 to 5,000 rupees a month. But as of today, I am not involved in the organized part of the banking system.
Okay.
But for the first time, because of UPI, there is a possibility that a bank may notice me because of the digital exhaust that I am creating through the transactions that I am making during the day. And that's how the banks might be interested in lending to me 10,000 rupees or 20,000 rupees at a rate which would be, let's say, 30% or 40%, rate which would be 6 to 8 times cheaper than the rate that I was used to, that of 365% per annum. So this is a defining moment, I would say, where we would be able to take banking to the grassroots level of the economy and give them opportunities for changing their lives.
Well, that's a great anecdote that you've shared with us, Mr. Dusad, about how a vegetable vendor can hope to benefit from this deployment of responsible AI at scale. But tell us more about it. Initially, at the time of deployment of AI, we saw AI being deployed primarily for chatbots, for customer engagement. How has that traveled beyond? Is AI now truly the heart of, say, perhaps lending risk compliance decisions? Do you see that happening now in the near future?
It is still some distance away, the decisions part of it. We have started using, as you very correctly highlighted, we have started using it for customer service and things of that kind. These decisions, we are the industry and players like us are experimenting with these decisions, and we would be able to take these decisions soon enough. There were certain challenges, and let's not say that those challenges have gone away. But through defined guardrails, we would be able to address those challenges. We would be able to bring in human element in these decisions, and make sure that the value that AI would give to the society
Right.
is given in a right manner.
Well, that anecdote again, I go back to that you gave to us of a vegetable vendor, say in rural India, assessing the credit worthiness through UPI. My next question, I'm just taking a cue from that. DPI has become a core strength as far as India is concerned. Tell us, how do you then build on that foundation when you're looking at deployment of responsible AI?
The way we look at DPI is a very robust foundation for us to leverage. Let's go 10 years back and certainly visualize whether something like this was possible at all. But here we are, thanks to everyone, the ecosystem has got created where we are about to reach billion transactions per day. That's a mind-boggling number, and the impact of something of this nature are humongous. What happens is with DPI, you are able to visualize things which you couldn't have visualized at all. The one that we've talked about, and in a similar manner, there are things that you are able to do which were not possible at all. We could not have imagined that we would be able to lend to let's say 10 to 20 million micro and small enterprises, 10,000 rupees, 20,000 rupees, which may not be very big number from an urban perspective, but it can create a huge impact. And for a rural entrepreneur, these numbers would make humongous difference. Whether I am artisan, where I am a painter, if I can buy raw material for my work without paying excessive interest rates and make use of this facility, then my ability to earn reasonable living, that goes up substantially.
So essentially a lot of value to be unlocked there. But speaking of unlocking value, one common feedback that we often get while speaking to companies is that there's been great interest in experimentation, in POCs, but deploying it at its scale, embedding it in the heart and soul of the decision making of the company, the functioning, the operations of the company, that's a much bigger challenge. So tell us, what will it take to get to a status of an AI ready bank? How do we prep the BFSI sector?
Yeah, I think excellent question, Ashmit. Banks are in fact one of the best examples of how AI can be put to use in the most effective manner. One of the core requirements for AI to be of value is the quality of the data, and banks thankfully have always maintained good quality data. And when that data is put to use in a comprehensive manner, and of course, that data alone will not be adequate, you will need data which is substantially beyond that. For example, we are talking about let's say Kumbh Mela, and there are, let's say, hundreds of thousands of micro enterprises there.
Right.
So when you bring in the data of number of visitors in a Kumbh Mela on daily basis, your ability to take decisions to lend to those hundreds of thousands of micro enterprises, that goes up. And when you bring in the quality of data with the ecosystem around it, your ability to take risks also goes up.
But speaking of taking risks, here's one risk that we often talk about, the impact on people, the people impact of deployment of AI. I'm talking about it from a banker's perspective. Now, you're talking about a great deal of automation. We're talking about what in the near future could look like in terms of decision making using AI. What will that do to a banker? What does an AI-ready banker look like to you?
Okay. the quality of the decisions and quality of the work that a banker would do would be much higher than the quality of the work that he is doing today. Let's go 30 years back, 40 years back. A typical banker would write a cash book and post those transactions in a ledger and create a trial balance and P&L for the branch and so on and so forth. He doesn't do that any longer, but he is extremely well employed.
Right.
So, in a similar manner, as we move forward from the conventional banking into AI banking, the quality of your work would go up. You would be looking at the models in a far more with far more details. You would be evolving the models through which you lend in a much more creative manner. You would be, within quotes, policing those models, those decisions on sample basis very, very effectively. So, today also when audit happens, it's done on a sample basis. Likewise, bankers would also play similar roles in evolving these AI models so that the decisions are robust decisions, and I do not visualize any dearth of jobs because of AI. The quality of job would be very different, but more human beings would be required according to me, because we are expanding the market. We are expanding the market in a far bigger way. As of now, the market is by and large limited to the urban or semi-urban area. We are taking the market to the every nook and corner of the country, and that's how.
So, no dearth of jobs, rather more opportunities there. Do hold that thought. We're slipping into a very short break, but on the other side, we'll continue this conversation on what an AI-ready or future-ready Indian banking sector could look like. We'll, of course, get more thoughts from Mr. Dusad on the other side.
Nucleus Software presents CNBC TV 18 Banking Transformation Summit, 4th edition. Nucleus Software presents CNBC TV 18 Banking Transformation Summit, 4th edition.
Well, welcome back to this curtain raiser to the Banking Transformation Summit. We're in conversation with Mr. VishnuRDusad, who's telling us about what the future of banking will look like, what an AI-ready banking future will look like. Mr. Dusad, let me get your perspective on the next big opportunity here when we look at the BFSI space. Is it Bharat banking? Is it unlocking credit markets, which were initially perhaps out of the traditional fold of the banking system? Is that what perhaps AI will enable, AI will do to the BFSI space?
Certainly, that is clearly one of the things that will happen and is about to happen. It started happening already, in fact. So clearly, that is one thing that is going to happen. And as we are taking our UPI infrastructure to other countries in the world, there would be many more opportunities for our solutions, ecosystem solutions, to be deployed in a number of jurisdictions, and these are far low cost solutions,
Right.
Coming from India.
Well, that's clearly something, I think, a story that we keep hearing from the government on takers internationally for some of the solutions, homegrown solutions from here in India. But let me just also help us look at this issue from a regulatory perspective. As we move closer to AI becoming smarter, to AI from at this point assisting decisions, to a later stage, say a few quarters down the road, making decisions, credit decisions when it comes to lending, risk profile, compliance. How do we look at it from a regulatory lens? Is there need for perhaps evolution of the regulatory frameworks to account for this latest decision making, to make sure it's transparent, make sure it's reasonable?
No, I think we, all of us should take pride in the fact that we have a regulator which is right on top, which regulator who is highly proactive, very keen to understand what is happening in the marketplace, very proactively interacting with all sorts of players to understand what is happening and what is possible, and coming up with regulation which is extremely meaningful. Of course, initially, no regulated entity was really ready for this heavy kind of regulation, but I think very meaningful regulation is coming in place, and at least in India we should be comfortable that there is someone who is looking at things. And of course, there were challenges on kind of fraud that was taking place. I'm sure steps are have been taken, and they would get accelerated, and people would be even more comfortable with digital transactions going forward.
Let's come back to the conversation on technology. Very often we hear voices coming in from the valley. They tell us that the future is one that belongs to agents, AI agents. Not one or a few hundred of them. We're talking about millions and millions of AI agents that will be helping us going forward. Tell us, what are some of these functions that you currently see across the BFSI space that will be taken over by AI agents that will perhaps do a better job of that?
In fact, there will be literally any number of today's day-to-day jobs which would be taken over by agents, and then creating those agents would be the jobs of the bankers, right? Okay. So, for example, let's say we're talking about a collection agent,
okay,
right? Today, someone goes and knocks at someone's door, and his name is there, and then an interaction happens, and hopefully the collection also happens. Now, since things are getting more and more digital, the need for someone to knock may not be there. Because everyone's money is digital. So, at a meaningful time, the agents may keep an eye on the money, and they would very proactively and promptly convey to the borrower that, okay, now I am the priority, and hence the money goes in the direction of your repayment. Now, this is just one example. In a similar manner, credit decisioning could be another agent, and very precise loan amount at very low precise interest rates may be made available by agents to specific customers. And this is how literally there will be not just millions, we are talking about billions of agents getting created, which will have to function within clearly guardrails. You cannot let them be free, otherwise things can go wrong also. The AI technology hasn't got perfected yet. It is still some years away, and it might be very expensive also. So that guardrails will have to be there. That responsibility will always remain with human beings, and through this combination of AI being trained by human beings, and AI then in turn working as an assistant to human beings, we would be able to take the certainly the national economy, and hopefully in the global economy also, we would be able to play a very, very important role.
Let's talk about global best practices. You, in your personal capacity, work across a whole host of banking service providers in India, overseas as well. A great deal of experience that you bring in. Can you tell us what are some of these best practices that you see overseas, which perhaps can be replicated here, perhaps towards AI deployment, towards regulation? What are some of these best practices that India can perhaps look to build on?
I think we must continue learning from the world. Discipline is something that we have learned from Japan. We've been there for now last 26 years. Innovation is something that we continue to learn from the US, and governance is something that we learn from Singapore. The more you understand their philosophy in these core principles, the more impressed you get, and the more you are able to bring it into your day-to-day functioning, higher is the quality of your solutions that you can in turn offer them back.
From what I can make of this conversation, you're telling us what the future of banking will look like. You're telling us about millions and billions of agents. You're talking about how the quality of decision making will improve. You're talking about how creating these agents will also be perhaps one of the roles that bankers will be expected to do in the future. So tell us, when so many levers pull together, how important will it be to have greater engagement between, say, the banking sector, the fintech space, as well as technology providers?
It's absolutely, I would say, necessary that very intense interaction between the different stakeholder groups takes place. And that is what this Banking Transformation Summit is all about, where ideas would be, explored. The regulator is going to be there. They are always thinking ahead. The practitioners are there. They are also continuously applying their minds. And when these ideas are bounced off each other, very exciting things happen.
But before we let you go, just a couple of questions. As you look ahead at this journey, what is the one thing that excites you and one thing that perhaps causes some concern?
Excitement is about AI, the value that it is going to generate. Within the concern is essentially about how are we going to make sure that it doesn't go out of hand. Now, let's accept that reality that unless we make sure of that, there is always a possibility that things go out of hand. So, I'm sure all of us are collectively making sure that that doesn't happen. And that's what the excitement is all about.
On that note, let me ask you this one final question. Banking Transformation Summit, the 4th edition, 2026. Why should people be watching? What is the big takeaway? Why is this coming at a critical juncture for technology companies, for technology providers, for the banking industry right now in 2026?
I think we are at a juncture where there is a huge amount of excitement, and that excitement about the latest technologies, the latest tools would convert into real terms when you have those interactions. And that is what the Banking Technology Summit talks about. We've had 3 editions and they've been very, very exciting. And I'm equally confident that the 4th would be even more exciting.
Right. Thanks so much for that, Mr. Dusad, for clearly an insightful conversation and giving us a glimpse of what it will take to build an intelligent, trusted, and future-ready banking ecosystem for India. And this is just the beginning. At the Banking Transformation Summit 2026, we will hear from the biggest and the most respected voices in banking, policy, fintech, and NBFCs on how responsible AI can power the next phase of India's financial growth. Stay tuned to CNBC TV 18.
Nucleus Software presents CNBC TV 18 Banking Transformation Summit, 4th edition.